Tax reform to save the economy. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, let's have a look at this article from The Age. Get serious on tax reform to rebuild from the recession, according to a survey, and this is written by Shane Wright. Now, I think with regards to taxation, we need to take the policy, like from entrepreneurs, pay yourself first. I would hope, at the very least, rather than incentivizing people to invest in properties, we allow people to, well, buy their own house first and then reduce the cost or write off the expenses associated with that before they pay the government. You know, maybe housing should be something, you should be able to put a house above your heads first before you pay the government, because the government is very inefficient, they waste a lot of money, and they move it all around playing politics. Not the most efficient. And then we move from there is just to slowly reduce the scale of the government and the burden that it places on all of us. But let's have a look at what's being called for here. The Morrison government and state leaders need to embrace tax reform to help drive the economy out of the pandemic, with some of the nation's top economists also calling for more spending on infrastructure and childcare. More spending on childcare. It's funny. I mean, encouraging childcare to get more, normally women, working, and then you have to get more taxes, so you take more money off them to pay for the childcare. It's just ludicrous. It really is. And a lot of them, it's for indoctrination, for political purposes, I'd say. So, a scope survey of market, academic, and independent economists also shows growing support for more interventionist industry policy and clarity around the nation's approach to climate change. See, we need to have a call for special economic regions where the government steps away, where they remove the red tape, where they remove the burdens and the rules they are placing on businesses and on individuals in these areas, so that then the free market can thrive. But there doesn't seem to be a call for that. People want more intervention, more intervention. And that's dangerous because it always blows up in our face every bloody time. Look at the housing sector. Look at the amount of money the government has thrown at the housing sector for years. Look at the stimulus they're pushing into housing. Homes are getting more and more and more expensive. People are working most of their lives just to pay off a mortgage. Now, the conspiracy theorist in me would argue that perhaps that's done intentionally because a population burdened by debt is a compliant population. So, the most recent national accounts show the economy grew by 3.1% in the December quarter, following a 3.4% expansion in September. Despite the strongest consecutive quarters of growth on record, the economy is still smaller than it was before the pandemic. Unemployment is at 6.4%, while underemployment is at 8.1%. Wages growth has also slumped to its lowest level on record. The Morrison government has signaled it will not engage in major reform, focusing instead on getting unemployment comfortably below 6% before it tackles budget repair. But scope economists in a survey for the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age said major reform was necessary if the economy was to continue to expand out of the pandemic. But is this current economic expansion that we're seeing the result of true economic growth, or is it just, well, the market being juiced by government stimulus, by borrowing from future generations? You're getting, young people are getting priced out of the housing market because of government stimulus, and then they will be paying that back in taxes because the government stimulus is being pushed on the future generations. Seems, yeah, fair, reasonable, completely cool. Yeah, awesome. Nothing wrong here, guys. You can see why people are getting frustrated. My fear is that there'll be more calls for people to advocate for interventionist and authoritarian political policies. I think ideologically we're gonna see a shift here in Australia to more socialistic tendencies, which is, well, never works out well historically. But I'm sure we'll get it right this time, because we're smarter than humans and all throughout history, even though, our social media mob justice and media mob justice is no different to the Salem witch trials and that type of rubbish, is it? Our hubris will be our downfall. So, many say tax reforms, dominated by overhauling state taxes such as stamp duty and payroll, had to be on the agenda if the economy was to recover. Now, payroll tax, I don't understand the point of this. It just seems illogical, like completely stupid. When you hit a certain point in payroll, you have to pay more tax. And some of the reasons these taxes were brought in was for specific reasons. I think payroll tax was brought in for one of the world wars. Well, the war's over, guys. It's over. Let's just kill payroll tax. Okay? Stamp duty. I mean, yeah, I've got issue with stamp duty entirely. But the problem is they don't want to get rid of it. They'll replace it with a land tax, which will be even worse. Managing Director for RBC Capital Markets, Sin Leong, said not only should states follow the lead of New South Wales on stamp duty, bring in a land tax, but that the federal government should revisit the timing of the next round of personal income tax cuts. I mean, really, we should get into a situation where our government is so small, we do not need personal income tax. Fund it with, let's have our government capped at GST. Let's just get rid of all the dead weight, everyone. There's a lot there. A lot of it will mean that we'll have to remove significant portions of our welfare system. But if you have, you do it over an extended period of time, you wean people off it slowly, you wean our politicians off it slowly. I can't see it happening. I think you'd have to be a brave politician to do it. So, abolition of stamp duty replaced by land tax. There we go, land tax. Paying forever. Would likely assist in increasing turnover and bringing supply to the market. It's an inefficient and costly tax which discourages selling and mobility of labour, she said. Well, then how about we just get rid of it entirely and reduce government services? A further bringing forward of personal income tax cuts will help lift competitiveness, increase labour force participation, and deliver higher disposable income. AMP Capital Chief Economist Shane Oliver said tax reform, deregulation, and even more infrastructure spending would deliver the largest economic benefits. Meaningful tax reform is hard, given the political aversion to increasing the GST, but at least New South Wales is trying with a move away from stamp duty, he said. Westpac Chief Executive Bill Evans said there was a need to address distortive state taxes such as stamp duty and payroll, and to rebalance the share of direct and indirect taxes like GST. Janin Dixon, a senior research fellow at the Centre of Policy Studies at Victoria University, said better childcare access would deliver major benefits to the job market. Yeah, they want you to put your children in the care of others, and that it'll be a state-mandated education system and indoctrination right there from the beginning, so you can work. Fantastic. No need to. The scary thing is some children are so young put into childcare that they experience abandonment syndrome. Look it up, guys. I'm not making this up. It's really sad. We shouldn't need it. But that's the thing. And you're saying, well, Florian, we've gotten to a point now where both people need to work. Yeah. That's a sign of a decline in our quality of life, where you need to have both people in a couple working just to get ahead, just to get a house. This is an advancement, everyone. They've had daycares long before we've had them now. It existed all throughout history, everyone. It wasn't a good thing. Still isn't. It's sad that you're forced into it. Reform in the care sector to enable more families to access high-quality care and increase participation in the labour market, she said. Yep, they want you to keep working because they want you to pay those bloody taxes. Then they give you a portion of it back and you feel like you're getting something back. Isn't it awesome? Direct government intervention in the economy has spiked through the pandemic. Oh, bloody hell it has. Industry super chief economist Stephen Anthony said industry policy had to continue, perhaps through changing bank lending standards to favour small and medium-sized businesses. We need an aggressive strategy to reward value-adding and job creation across our existing commodity-based exports by industrialising innovation at our workplaces, he said. Well, okay, to do that, you need to create incentives for businesses to hire people. You need to make it easier to fire people, and you need to reduce the cost of the green tape. You need to reduce the cost of actually building factories and infrastructure, all the loopholes and BS you need to jump through. You need council permission to do anything. That needs to be streamlined. That needs to be a lot easier, because those are all costs. Independent economist Saul Eslake said reform should start with education, focusing on the growing gap between students from the most socioeconomically disadvantaged groups and the rest of the country. Yeah, but throwing more money at our education system hasn't made any difference to anyone. You know, look at this here. Look at it's declining since the building education revolution at the GFC. They were just chucking money at it. Schools could build new buildings. They would tear down buildings. It's the broken window fallacy. They would tear down perfectly good buildings to build new buildings for economic activity. That was it. A complete waste of money and resources. Throwing money at education isn't going to solve the problem. I'm quite skeptical of some of the new pedagogical approaches to teaching, particularly where they have all these, one classroom, 90 students for 3 teachers and cram them all together. Well, let's see how that manifests in some time. We've experienced day school now. We've put Mina in there for a term, and we'll see. I don't want to keep her there full time, because she's already told us she does more work when she's working distance at home. The really ironic thing is she's getting more screen time at a day school, more screen time, because we wanted to do everything by hand. And I was telling her, I said, I'd argue with her, going, you need to do your mathematics by hand. I don't care that they want you to do your homework on the iPad. You need to write out the rough work in your notepad so you can learn. So, maybe we need to look at really out-of-the-box teaching methods. But this is because, we can actually do it because, Rachel is a full-time mother, but she still works at home and still works on projects, and I'm around all the time. We've kind of designed our lives differently to a lot of people. And, we've cut our costs so significantly we can afford to do it. He said payroll tax exemptions for small businesses should be scaled back. Instead, there should be exemptions for new businesses, while the federal government should also preference new businesses with lower company tax rates. Mr. Eslake also warned that without credible energy and climate policies, businesses were likely to be slapped with carbon tariffs. We should just get rid of them. We don't need them. We need cheaper energy in this country. The government needs to step away. There you go, everyone. What tax reforms do you think? This seems just more of the same. Playing at the fringes, nothing brave. But then again, that seems to be politics in Australia. At least there's a discussion on tax reform. Nothing about negative gearing. That's definitely a tough thing to take to an election. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. What tax reforms would you like to see here in Australia? Would you be happy to see an increase in GST if it meant your personal income tax decreased significantly? What do you reckon? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.